Okay, part 2 of Module 6, Pragmatics. And when I left you, we were in the middle of viewing a commercial and trying to determine the direct and indirect speech acts that were included in that commercial. And some of the things that I came up with, some of the things that I came up with would be that the cat was missing. We know that from the sign. The dog was bearing tags of some sort. The man was eating Doritos. The indirect speech acts or the indirect communication would be that the dog probably killed the cat. The dog bribed the man. I would also say that the dog was threatening the man. The man loved Doritos because he was eating them all the time and he would do anything to get them. And the sentence, "Have you seen the cat?" probably means that the cat is missing, based on the situation, the context of the commercial. So those are some examples of what speech acts, indirect and direct speech acts look like. So this spring, when I taught this class, we had some fun with this in that the students had to write these speech acts as if they were going to, in a lesson plan, as if they were going to be able to teach them to students. I think I probably enjoyed it more than they did because I did ask them to act it out, and they weren't really very thrilled about that. An example of one of them, and of course this would not be something that you would teach kids, but it's an example of a situation where when you're in that context, maybe you just don't know how to handle it. You don't know what to say. And so this is kind of putting you in the situation that your ELL students feel just in everyday things like making an apology or asking someone over to hang out. So for instance, a scenario: you are a member of a 4-person middle school science PLC. You always complete your daily lesson plans and pride yourself in being ready with engaging lessons for your students every day. A teammate repeatedly comes into your classroom in the morning while you are trying to get ready for the day and asks for your lesson plans because they didn't have time to prepare. It was a rough night last night. You've had it. How do you tell them no without causing problems within your PLC? And so in this situation, I would suggest that you write a 4 to 5 step speech act on how you would handle a situation like this. So that's the kind of work that we did when we were in our face-to-face class. Okay, so Module 6 readings. My reading highlight was this article, Pragmatic Activities for Speaking Classrooms. That was the speech acts introduction that I just presented. The reading from the West chapter, or the chapters from the West book, are pretty straightforward. And the David Crystal video I spoke of previously is this one right here. Your assignments for Module 6. I wanted to start out by talking about the portfolio. This portfolio assignment is due June 30th, and I'm a little concerned about having enough time to grade this fairly and being able to put enough time into each submission because it's due on Sunday and grades are due by noon on Tuesday. And when you read the description of this assignment, it's pretty big. So I would like to suggest that we make some revisions to this assignment. So basically what this is using portfolio artifacts to assess instead of like tests or writing papers. The reason I would like to revise this assignment is mainly about time. I want to make sure that you have enough time to complete it, but I have enough time to grade it. So the first revision I would like to make for this assignment is that we reduce the review to just one peer, and you can just use the peer partner that you have used for the entire month. The second thing I would like to do for this assignment is to reduce the number of words in the paper. I'm very concerned about 20 papers being, and most of them are graduate students, and the word count for those papers was supposed to be 1,000 to 1,500. And That's a lot of reading, as well as grading other assignments. So what I would like to do is reduce the word count. Undergrads, you can stay the same. You're right at about 300 plus or minus 100. But grads, let's reduce your papers, if at all possible, to 500 words. Again, maybe a little more than that if you need it, but I think I can handle 20 papers that are within these word counts and have enough time to grade them. There's been a lot of questions about what this assignment looks like, and I think that's a fair question. We spent a lot of time in the spring talking about this as well. So what I suggest is you create a Google Drive folder, or create a folder on Google Drive, and you share it with my Gmail address. Don't use my Grandview one; it won't work. And then you submit the link to that folder to Blackboard. And so here's an example of a student from the spring. Now, it was a face-to-face class, and most of them were undergrads, so this portfolio is probably going to look a little bit different than what you're putting together. But what this particular student did was just create a folder, shared it with me, and then she dropped everything into this particular folder. The one thing I would ask is that the paper that you write, if you could clearly label that so I know which one, which artifact is your paper. And then everything else, if that could be clearly labeled too, that would be great. So this is what I was thinking. This, I think, would work really well, and it's also a folder that you could use to access when you are teaching. So I think it's something that is workable for both you and I. So the discussion for this week for Module 6 is building off of that portfolio activity or that portfolio assessment, in that instead of our usual discussion, I thought it would be fun to share some resources that we could drop into our portfolios. So what I would like you to do is pick a link to a fun game, an activity, a teaching resource that you've used or that you've created or that you find on the internet, and just post that link. And then the response to that would be you going into everybody's post and finding some resources that you could use in your classroom. We have a pretty equal number of secondary and elementary level teachers, and so I really think this could be something that would be valuable for everyone. So what do you post when you are responding to the discussions? Well, let's just write a brief paragraph, 2 to 3 sentences sorry, I'm going to back up. So when you put your link under the discussion, with that link, if you could just include 2 to 3 sentences describing what the activity is, tell us where you found it, your APA source citation, and then how do you plan to use it in your classroom? Again, a paragraph, brief. Then when you're responding, your peer responses can simply just be a response saying that this is something that you are going to copy and put into your portfolio, and just kind of share why you found this particular resource beneficial for your classroom or your future classroom. If you have any questions at all about that, email me quickly, because as of Thursday afternoon, I probably won't be checking emails a whole lot. But I think this would be a great way for us to build content in our portfolios. The assignment, again, is a choice of 3 that you may choose from. A couple people have emailed saying, hey, it's just saying writing an activity. Does that have to be a full-blown lesson plan? No, it does not. As long as you are following the assignment rubric and you are hitting those major criteria, it does not need to be in a full-fledged lesson plan format. And then again, the self-evaluation quiz and the e-journal learning reflection, if you could get those done as well, that would be great. Module 5 due dates, those are going to be, well, the discussion's due today, and then everything else is due tomorrow. The due dates for Module 6, heads up, it's not the usual Thursday, Monday routine this time. The discussion's actually due on Saturday, and then everything else is due on Sunday. However, I probably will not be on Blackboard until Sunday or Monday. So gauge your work. And then also you have for graduate students, you have the Module 3 to 5 assignment as well. So as I said, just remember, I will be off the GBU grid starting Thursday afternoon till Sunday. This is going to cause me great stress because I'm going to get behind in grading, but don't worry, I will catch up. And as always, email me with questions if you have anything that you are wondering about, especially about the change in the discussion and also in how you're putting your portfolio together. Have a great weekend.